Well, it's getting cooler here in Michigan, isn't it? But tomorrow's supposed to be 77 degrees in Michigan, so I cannot wait for that. But I'm yet to fire up the stove. My dad has a few times, and it works very nice out here in the garage, so no worries there. I will stay warm. Thank you, everyone, for joining. I'm the Dependent Fanatic. Hello, and today I have a two-part episode for you. I have the power ranking that should have been out like Monday or Tuesday. I'm sorry it's late. And then my picks for this Saturday. So let's get started with the power ranking first and then the picks. At number one, I have Texas. They move up after Alabama lost, which dropped Georgia too. How can you lose to a team that lost to Vanderbilt and still be in the top six? No, you can't. Or in the top four. I mean, Georgia is number 5 now. Alabama's number 4, but number 1, Texas, 5-0. They have quality wins. They have a win at Michigan, which is getting worse. They have a win versus ULM at home, a 3-2 or better team. They have no losses. Their resume ranking is number 3, and their next up opponent is Oklahoma. We'll have a pick on that game coming up. Number 2 in my power ranking is Ohio State. Yes, you can't see the nutcracker in this background, but hopefully Michigan can crack that nut. I doubt it. Ohio State's amazing. Marshall and Iowa are their quality wins. They're undefeated. They're number 15 in the resume ranking, but number 2 in the power ranking. They're at Oregon this upcoming weekend, who is number 3. The winner of this game may be number 1. We'll see. It depends on how much they win by. Oregon, number 3, 5-0. They have good wins versus Boise State and at Oregon State. They are number 6 in the resume ranking, number 3 in the power ranking. They have Ohio State. All right, number 4 fell down from number 1 last week, and that was Alabama. Alabama still number 4 in my book, even though they lost on the road to Vanderbilt. But quality wins versus Western Kentucky, at Wisconsin, and then Georgia proves they are a pretty darn good team. The resume ranking has them at number 9 in this week's ranking. They have South Carolina at home, and we'll talk about that game as well in the picks portion of this video coming up after the power ranking. Like I said, number 5 is Georgia, only lost to Alabama on the road. They beat Clemson in a neutral site, and they beat Kentucky on the road. They are number 12 in the resume ranking, and they have Mississippi State this upcoming weekend. They should blow them out. They dropped from number 2 last week. BYU now is number 6 in my book. They were number 11 last week. They jumped up 5 spots. They beat SMU on the road and Kansas State. They are number 7 in the resume ranking. They have Arizona at home this week, and they stay in the top 10. Number 7 is Miami at the moment, 6-0. At Florida and at Cal are pretty good wins, but too many close wins for Miami. They are actually number 2 in the resume ranking. I don't understand how, but it's the 2 road victories that they were number 10 last week. They're all the way up now to number 7. They have a bye week this upcoming week. Number 8 is Penn State. Penn State is 5-0. They have wins at West Virginia. They beat Illinois at home. They are number 4 in the resume ranking, number 8 here. They were number 7 last week, so they went down 1 spot for me. It was BYU knocking them down 1 spot. They are at USC this upcoming weekend. Can't wait for that game. Number 9 is Iowa State. They are 5-0. They moved down one spot because of BYU as well, but they have good wins at Iowa, and Arkansas State at home is still a good win. Number 5 in the resume ranking. And they are on the road at West Virginia this weekend. Can they do what Penn State did, who was just above them? All right, number 12, it's Pittsburgh. 5-0 at Cincinnati, and they beat West Virginia at home. So West Virginia is kind of a standard bearer for these lower end top 12 teams, but pretty good team. So they're a good win for Pitt. They are number 8 in the resume ranking. Pitt is. They were unranked in my power ranking last week. They joined the rest of them. They have actually Cal at home this upcoming weekend. We'll talk about that game as well. And then Texas A&M. After losing to Notre Dame week 1, they're 5-1. And they are number 11 in my power ranking. I go 12 deep, the amount of playoff teams allowed. At Florida, Arkansas and Missouri, both at home, are all wins for Texas A&M. Like I said, the one loss to Notre Dame at home. They are number 10 in the resume ranking. I have them at number 11 in the power ranking. They have a bye this upcoming week. And then Kansas State comes in at number 12, 4-1, with the loss at BYU, who is number 6 here in this power ranking, number 7 in the resume ranking. Kansas State is number 19 in the resume ranking. So I am taking a leap of faith here, putting them at number 12. But 4-1, wins at Tulane, and then they beat Arizona at home. They are at Colorado this week, so we'll see what they're made of. The group of 5 team, the group of 5 representatives so far. I know Liberty won last night. It's Friday night here right now. As I'm taping this video, Liberty won, so they're undefeated. But Boise State's only loss is on the road at Oregon by a few points. I think a field goal, right? Early in the season. And Oregon is the number 3 team, number 6 in the resume ranking. So no shame in losing that game. They won at Georgia Southern, and they beat Washington State at home. They have good wins. I think Boise State, with the strength of record, is, if they can win out, is on pace to take over an undefeated Liberty, who I had in the preseason being the representative. So, like I said, their loss was at Oregon. They're number 18 in the resume ranking as of right now. They have a trip to Hawaii coming up this season. Dropped out of my rankings. Who dropped out? Missouri at 4-1 and Tennessee at 4-1. A couple of SEC teams. I can see them maybe getting back in the upcoming week. All right, let's talk about week 7 picks, shall we? Part 2 of the video. Pause, take a break, take a breath, whatever you got to do. At noon, there are 5 big games. I have 12 bets this week for you out of 17 picks that I'm going to lay out on the line. Last week, 5-7 against the spread, not good. 12-8 straight up, not good. Overall, 30-34 against the spread for the season. 4 below 500, not good. And 80-24 straight up, which is okay for the season. At noon, I think this is going to be a good week. I can say that every week, but hey. South Carolina's at Alabama. I have Alabama winning this game 31-17. Alabama's favored by 21. That's a touchdown difference, but I'm still not going to bet this game because I have no idea from week to week what Alabama is going to give us. I really don't. Clemson is at Wake Forest. I think Clemson wins this game 34-10. The line is 20.5, so only 3.5 points off my pick. I really want to pick Clemson to cover that spread, but I'm not going to this week. That's one of the non-bets. One of the 5 non-bets I have here for you in the rapid fire picks. Missouri is at Massachusetts. I think Missouri wins this game 14, excuse me. Missouri is favored by 27. 42-14 is 28 points. I'm going to take Missouri on the road, minus 27 points. They got to win that game and cover the spread. I'll bet that game. So the first bet right there. Washington is at Iowa. Washington just beat Michigan at home. Iowa just lost to Ohio State on the road. Iowa is favored by 3 points in this game. I think Washington wins 23-17. That's a 6-point difference in Washington's favor. Give me them outright. I'll put the money line on it, and I'll bet it. And the last noon game, the last of 5, Wisconsin is at Rutgers. I think Rutgers can win another close game. Low scoring in this one, of course. 24-21. They're favored by 2.5. It's close. It's only a half point off, but I like Rutgers minus 2.5 to win this game. I'm going to bet it. It's just a sneaky feeling about Rutgers at home. Some of this travel stuff has really affected the Big Ten, the new Big Ten, and the spreads. But we'll move on to 3:30 games. Texas is versus Oklahoma in the State Fair. Texas is favored by 14.5 points. I think Oklahoma wins this game. Texas is due for a letdown, aren't they? I know they're great. I know they're number one team in my power ranking. I just have a sneaky feeling, a rival. They haven't beat you in a while. I think Oklahoma has the quarterback, Dylan Gabriel. They have a defensive mind and Brett Venables as head coach. They can slow Texas down. And then Texas is Ewers back. There's going to be Arch Manning. Arch Manning is looking good, but young. He's young. I like Oklahoma to win this game 27-24. So give me 14.5 points in Oklahoma, and I'll bet that game. Penn State at 3:30 is at USC. USC wins this game 28-27. Nail biter, close game. Penn State's favored by 3.5. Give me all them 3.5 points and USC, and I'll bet that game as well. Listen, their offense is good enough. They have to run a little more. Penn State, I don't know. Their defense looks really good, but what does their offense look like? This is going to be a kind of a lower scoring, close affair, in my opinion, as well. And then Stanford is at Notre Dame. Notre Dame, I think, wins 31-20. Stanford is better than their record is. They played some better teams. Notre Dame had that loss to Northern Illinois. Stanford could make this a close game, 31-20. The line's 22.5, Notre Dame. I'm taking Stanford. And 22.5 points, and I'll bet that game. Cal is at Pitt. Cal came close to beating, who did they come close to beating last week? I forget. Pitt is undefeated. I think Pitt wins this game at home 35-24. That's an 11-point difference. They're only favored by 3. Give me Pitt minus 3 points to cover this game. I'll bet that. And then Purdue is at Illinois. Illinois is favored by 21.5 points. Can they score that many? Versus, I know Purdue is not that great, but Illinois has to be able to score more than 38 points to cover that spread, because they're going to give up some points. I like Illinois to win this game 27-17, a 10-point difference. I think it's going to be a nail biter between the states that border each other. Give me Purdue plus 21.5 points in this game, and I'll bet it. Louisville, the last 3:30 game. Louisville is at Virginia. Virginia has the better record. Louisville, some tough losses, Notre Dame, and Georgia, did Georgia Tech beat them? I can't remember. Virginia is going to win this game, though, at home by 1 point, 28-27. Louisville is favored in this game by Vegas, 7.5 points. These lines all came from tonight. I'm going to take Virginia plus 7.5 points, and I'll bet that game. Now, at 4 o'clock Saturday, Arizona is at BYU. BYU is favored in this game. Arizona has had some very close, tough losses. They have all the rest are wins. BYU, it's at BYU, and it will turn to night. Well, no, these are Eastern time. So it'll be daylight. I think Arizona wins this game, 24-21. I'll take that bet as well. -3 for, or +3 for Arizona. Give me them points. I'll bet it. I think they're going to win. Then at 4:15, Mississippi State is at Georgia. Georgia is favored by 34 points. Isn't that quite a bit after they haven't been able to score that many and a few halves recently? 41-14, I have Georgia winning. That's a 27-point difference. They have 34. I'm going to stay away from this game. I think they can get a 35-point win versus Mississippi State at home. So I'm going to stay away. And then 7 o'clock, Florida is at Tennessee in a night game on the East Coast. Tennessee is favored by 15 points. I think they win, but not by that much. 23-20. I think Florida's good enough. Their defense is good. It's going to be a low-scoring game. Points are going to be hard to come by. Give me Florida plus 15 points on the road. I'll bet that game. The next two are non-bets, and it is Washington at Fresno State. Washington State is favored in this game by 3.5 points. I think Fresno State loses as well, and it's close. I think Washington State wins 28-24 on the road at Fresno State, and that's a 0.5 point off what I had, so no bet. And then Ohio State. The biggest game of the week is at Oregon. Both undefeated teams, both top 2 in my power ranking, both top 15 in the resume ranking. The problem is number 15 team is going on the road to the number 6 Oregon team in the resume ranking. Resumes say Oregon is the best team. I say Ohio State is the best team. What do I go with? I'm going Ohio State on the road to win this game 31-27. That's a 4-point win on the road in Autzen. Vegas thinks it's going to be a 3-point game for Ohio State. Too close, 1 point up. I'm staying away from that because I can imagine Oregon getting one more touchdown versus them. So the last game is a bet. Mississippi is at LSU. Mississippi is favored by 3.5 points. I do all my predictions before I see the lines, and LSU I had winning this game 30-28. 30-28, yeah, 2-point victory. Maybe it's a safety. Maybe it's a lot of field goals. I just think LSU at home can take down Ole Miss. Late at night in this game, it will be a good one to watch, I think. So, LSU plus 3.5 points. I'll bet that game. So, to recap on the picks, I have Missouri -27. I have Washington Washington +3. I have Rutgers -2.5. Oklahoma +14.5. USC plus 3.5. I have Stanford minus 22.5, plus 22.5. It's confusing, sorry. The way I have it written down, it's hard. It's not user friendly. So that's why I'm saying it to all of you right now. But instead of showing you like I do the resume ranking, go check out those resume rankings. I think a few of you have so far. It takes a lot of work, a lot of effort, and a lot of time. So please go check it out. Give it a like. But Stanford plus 22.5, I'll take that. And then I have Pitt minus 3. I have Purdue plus 21.5 points. I have Virginia plus 7.5 points. I have Arizona plus 3 points. Florida plus 15 points. And LSU plus 3.5 points. What do you guys think? Am I missing something? Let me know down below. Always love to hear what you guys have to say in the comments. And I try to respond to everybody. Might just be a dependent fanatic thing with a heart. That means I like your comment. I like what you said. There was no question, nothing to add. So if you have a question, or if you have something to add that is intriguing, then I will respond to you. So, and don't forget I promised the Michigan basketball preview is coming probably tomorrow, Friday night. So thank you everybody for tuning in. Like the video, share, subscribe. Have a great night, everybody. But go blue. Bye week, but still go blue. A lot to work on.